let's start this. This is Jesse McCollum's spotlight interview for Edge Welding Supply, and he's one of the Edge Army members that's been around for a while. How long have you been with Edge, Jeff?
Like 2018, so like going on 7 years, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, back
we
when I was, it's back when I went back to Pro Charger after leaving. So yeah, it was like 2018.
dang, dude. Yeah, we started about the same time with Edge, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's crazy to think it's been that long. Doesn't seem like it.
no, it doesn't. And then I look and then again, I have an almost 9-year-old that I thought I brought home yesterday. So there's that. And then I got all of a sudden I look in the camera and I'm like, dang, I got a lot more gray hairs than I had the last time I did a
Yeah,
podcast. So
mine's
it sneaks up on you, that's for sure.
yeah, for sure, man. Like it every time you shave or trim your beard, you're like, whoa.
There's another 5.
Yeah, like yeesh. So
My recently my career in the welding industry has been such a rocket ship that there's not really much time for reflection and
yeah.
what's happened. It's mainly just moving forward and seeing what's next. So it kind of flies by.
So since everyone pretty much knows the base story of you from all the other interviews you've done, let's go into the journey with Everlast and how all that began and like how you got to where you are now.
So I mean, if you start all the way back, I mean, I was a customer of Everlast back in like late 2008, early 2009.
What was your
I was
first
looking
machine?
Power Plasma 50S. It was actually the first green Power Plasma 50S.
Because they used to be
So
yellow.
yep, they used to be yellow, and so I bought that unit. I was working on a 49 Ford, needed to do a bunch of sheet metal work, cutting out a bunch of rotten sheet metal. So instead of using cut-off wheels, I thought a plasma cutter would be the best option.
Hmm.
Ended up getting that 50S. Then I think in 2013, when I was at Pro Charger, a bunch of the guys there had race cars. I mean, it's Pro Charger; everybody has a race car.
That makes sense.
So I started getting requests from a lot of the guys there if I could do roll cages. So ended up buying a Power TIG 185 DV. 2014, I bought an iMig 200. So I kind of had my my base equipment. So I was
Yeah.
doing a bunch of side work with those units. Always posting up on the Everlast Facebook page. Getting a couple reposts from the Instagram account here and there. And said I was at Pro Charger, and then like 2018, we had a Dynasty 350, and it was my machine. It ended up going down. It was going to be, I don't know, like 6,500 and like 18, 19 weeks lead time to fix it. So I'd kind of made a post like jokingly on Instagram, like I'm breaking up with the work wife and going back to the ex, which was like a 1992 Synchrowave 350, like one of the big ass like refrigerator
Yeah.
sized machines. So I made a post about that, just kind of like joking, like that was it, just making a joke. And like 30 minutes later, I got a phone call from a 650 number. And I was like, nope, not answering that. Like, that's a California number. I've got no business in California. The dude, like, he called me like 7 or 8 times. It's like bam, 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 bam. And so finally, I got a text. Hey, bro, call me back. This is Olin from Everlast. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, that's weird. So he called me. I answered it, and he was like, hey, I saw your post. He's like, I know you're a customer. I want to send you a 325 EXT while your dynasty's down. He's like, and prepaid label, we'll overnight it. If you don't like it, send it back. If you do like it, we'll work something out, eventually. And yeah, almost, 7 years. We're going on almost 8 years later. Here I am. And that was kind of the start. Like I started using that 325. I had never considered Everlast for like, heavy production work like that.
Yeah.
It just, even being a customer, I just never really considered Everlast for, 8 to 10 hours a day, heavy aluminum work. It just
Yeah.
didn't click. And that 325, I mean, I mean, people say I'm biased, but whatever. It was more consistent. I didn't have any issues with it at all while I was at Pro Charger in the same environment that Dynasty was. So that really kind of turned the corner for like I'm not just a customer, like I'm a fan of this company. Like I saw a value in
Hmm.
the company and started not even being prompted, like kind of promoting it. Like, look at my work. This is what I'm doing. Like, you don't have to spend $12,000. You can spend 2,500.
Still to the ad campaign that runs today. Just by the
Yeah,
way,
still,
like,
yeah. There's still an ad floating around about that from way
yeah,
back.
I saw
But
it
then,
earlier
uh,
this week.
but then, like some of my work got more and more popular. I started kind of gaining some attention on Instagram, and next thing I know, Everlast was inviting me to come out to Tampa and film at their studio, do some YouTube work.
Hmm.
Those videos just absolutely blew up. People really liked them for some reason, and yeah. So then it was just like little baby steps. Like I did the videos; those went really well. Did some more videos. Then I kind of got invited to. I wouldn't say I was the biggest affiliate for Everlast, but I think I was. I didn't have the biggest followers, but I was probably the most prominent. Putting the most stuff out there. So
Hmm.
I got invited to kind of manage the affiliate sponsorship team. We made a couple changes. Things started going a little bit better as far as like content quality. Kind of getting our machines into some different locations, different industries that we weren't really in.
Yeah.
And then yeah, next thing I know, like I was asked to work part time for Everlast. Like, hey, can you be available to take some sales calls when someone has like a really technical welding question?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine. Like, how many are we talking about? And at first, it was like 5 calls a week, and then it kind of like I was good at selling equipment. Like I was good at honing in on what someone needed. Oleg recognized that, and then next thing I know, it was like 3 calls a day, and then it was like 6 calls a day. And this whole time, like I had been, I'm curious by nature as far as like how stuff works. So
Right.
I had always taken my machines apart and figured out, what does what, where, and just how things work to get a better understanding of the machine. From, I would say, from kind of two perspectives. Like one from the technical side for sure, but if I've always felt if you know how something works internally, then it makes it easier to kind of tune the machine, figure out why it's doing something you don't want it to, and get it to do something you do want it to.
Correct.
So that was always kind of my thing was like, take them apart, look at them. Why is this doing this? What component is that? So I had started gaining a really good in-depth knowledge of the internal workings of the machines, kind of problem solving stuff. So it just started like kind of snowballing. Like that snowball started rolling downhill, and it was like every month I was picking up a little extra responsibility, asking if I could do this, asking if I could do that, and then really it started. I'd say my journey to going like full time with Everlast really started with the Typhoon project.
Ah,
So
there we go.
I had been begging Oleg for like, dude, probably like 2 years. Like, hey man, let me do like a personal unit, like oh, like a
Custom,
flagship. This is my unit type of deal.
kind of
Like
like
a
a custom welding machine.
yeah, exactly. Like I wanted to do something really high end that was affordable still. And for like 2 years, he was like, "Yep, we'll never be able to sell it. It just people don't want that from Everlast. They don't see us like that." And finally, dude, I don't know. I think he just finally got tired of me asking, but he was like, "All right, here you go. Like this is you can do it. Like let's do it."
You wore
So
them
then we
down.
spent about yeah, I finally broke him down. So then we spent what like 2.5 years developing the Typhoon.
Hmm.
That's when we really brought on Mark Winchester was an affiliate, and really
Hmm.
really well known using Everlast stuff. But that's when I really brought him on to really help sort that machine out how we wanted it, how we really needed it to be. So Mark was really instrumental in helping me out with the development of the testing of the Typhoon. And once we got that first prototype unit, I mean, Mark and I were like giddy little schoolgirls, dude. Like we both got them the same day. We opened them up, and it wasn't like 10 minutes later. We were like literally on the phone laughing about how good they were. Like we couldn't believe what we had done, really, because you're just talking, basically two dumb welders uh, trying to trying to put together a welding machine. Even if it was something basic, it would have been an achievement, let alone something that was really, really good. And now so now we're another 2.5 years after the Typhoon release,
Hmm.
coming up on 3 years, and it's one of our top selling lineups in the Everlast line. It's just it's been an incredible machine, and we did a lot of I think probably more so than any other machine. That was the biggest stepping stone Everlast has probably taken in the last decade. There was a lot of improvements internally, going from ceramic resistors to aluminum resistors, that the high volt or the high frequency HF starts, the fan on demand, the programming. Huge leap forward for Everlast. So it was really an honor for Oleg to kind of entrust that, to us.
Yeah,
So it was really cool. So
that's
I think that
definitely
was so. Typhoon aside, we got past that. Typhoon comes out, and then there was a big uh, distributorship trade show in San Diego like 3 years ago. So I'm still working part time for Everlast, gaining knowledge of the equipment, kind of how the inner workings, the behind the scenes stuff works, getting a real good glimpse of the actual business side and not just here's a machine, sell it type of deal.
more or less getting that view to the other side of the curtain of things that you didn't
Yeah.
really know were there.
Yeah, before I was still a welder, but I was helping out,
Hmm.
and I had started transitioning to working for corporate and selling welders to welders. So it was this weird transitional period.
It's
But
a
anyway, we had this big trade show.
Yeah.
Norm, absolute best mentor I could ever have. But Norm ended up having some health issues a couple days before the trade show. He wasn't able to fly out there, so who else knew more about the company and how welders work than the dumb welder that's never done public speaking? So
But he
ended up,
uses the machine, so
yeah,
that's
exactly. So
that's a big plus.
Oleg and Norm took a big chance asking me to go out there and represent the company in front of about 400 distributors. That they had a lot of tough, interesting questions for someone that is not used to that world. But went out there, did a couple of big speeches in front of the distribution group. Took some like Q&A answer questions sessions. Somehow I didn't mess that up, and we got voted into the distributorship buyers group. That was AIWD, and yeah, it was about 2 weeks after we got the notification that we got voted in that Oleg asked me to come on full time as a salary employee.
That's awesome, man.
So it was kind of it was just kind of a stair step. I call it by brute force. I did kind of strong arm my way in by just making myself more important than probably what I should have been. But hey, it's worked out really well for
It
everybody now.
it seems more like it was a calling to you, to where like you saw a need in the industry for something to change, and for actual, you know, how long have we've all been welding, and then we always know, like, man, it'd be nice to actually have a welder's welding machine instead of just a machine made for welders. Like welders
Yep.
actually make a welding machine. And
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that really sets us apart, especially now. With the crew we have now. You and Mark in tech support, me kind of transitioning out of tech. But like when someone calls in for tech support, they're not talking to someone just reading off a script. Like they're talking to, between the three of us, they're talking to a welder that has 23, 24 plus years in the industry,
yeah,
to help them out. So it's not like we're just, have you tried turning it on and off? Have you tried
Have you
unplugging it
turned
for
it
10
off and turned
minutes?
it back on?
Yeah, like you're talking to people that actually know welding and not
Yeah,
just how to read okay, yeah, that didn't work. All right, well, contact your local repair center and send it in. That's it. There's no diagnosis. Whereas, me, you, and Mark, like we're actually running through everything about the settings. Okay, what's this? What's that? We can, run some simple
yeah,
diagnostics, and I'd say 50% of the time it's a setup issue. More or
yeah.
less. There's all machines have issues, but we're pretty good about sorting those out now. First time, first call, we probably get it right. 95, 96% of the time, which is for not being there. Have it in front of you. I think is
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
Watching a bunch of cell phone videos from people in their garage
Yeah.
trying to make their side money. That's
Yeah. No, I think that the thing is too that I think really sets us apart is like we're Everlast is pretty much a welding company ran by welders. Everybody outside of the office, like the office chicks, but
hmm
everybody else is a seasoned, a seasoned weld nerd more or less.
yeah,
And that's where a lot of like the innovation comes from is us seeing it in the industry, what we want as welders ourselves.
yeah.
We all still weld, we all still run our own businesses, part time. So I think that's what really sets us apart though is we are a welding company that's ran by welders,
That's
and we're
awesome.
passionate about the industry, and not just about the industry, but we're passionate about the product as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like just the short time that I've been on board, it's crazy to see how um just things are that are coming, you know, the things that y'all been working on that no one knows about. All
Yeah,
the behind the
that's the
scenes
that's
stuff
the
that
fun
it's
thing
like
is yeah, like the
it's like
well,
what?
especially being in here.
Yeah.
A lot of people still don't know about this place, but this is kind of like our Skunk Works lab,
Yeah.
and
That's definitely
there's
the lab.
I'm trying to. There's just in the background here, we've got like 3 prototype machines that nobody even knows about. So
Yeah.
it's it's pretty cool to. That's the other thing is this like this warehouse that I work in by myself is part of that trip, and even that's changed. In the last 2 years. We originally wanted this to be a welding school where we were going to we wanted to fill what we saw was a hole in the education part of the industry. We wanted to do like a 2 day, one day 2 day weld school where we were bringing in myself as like a main host and Moffat, and then some of our top affiliates to do single and 2 day training sessions.
Yeah.
And we're still working towards that. It just got with with other products coming out, it got a little bit busier around here than what we had expected. And this area has kind of changed from, oh, it's going to be a school slash our YouTube studio to it's now a YouTube studio slash demo center just because the lasers came out and they've been
Yeah.
that's a whole 2 hour conversation there. But
Yeah. I don't know how many days a week you're like, hey, I'm not available the first half of the day. Got laser demos. Hey, got this.
yeah,
So, and I mean, that lasers, even laser sales. I know. I don't know the exact sales numbers or anything. I don't want to get into that really, but I know that they've definitely moved forward in the industry as far as how many people have them out there and use them and actually have just come forward with, hey, this is a legit product, this is a legit process. Where, for how many years do we see those crazy little videos on the internet to where everybody's like, that's not real, that's not going to do anything, that's not going to help us in the industry at all, to where now it's like, wow, okay, we really need to keep an eye on this because
yeah.
this is
No, and
valid.
even when we started working on the lasers, that was my thought was like, come on, guys, like this is a gimmick. We don't need to be working on this. We're still trying to wrap up the Typhoon release. Like we don't
Yeah.
need to shift focus and attention and money away from the Typhoon. Like let's get it out. And that's one of the things I can say. Like Oleg, he's got a really good eye for the industry, And he was like, "Nope, this is what we're doing. You're leading it. You're on it." All right, yes, sir. That's that's what we're doing. Like, okay,
Right.
bro.
Okay, I'll learn it. And
So yeah,
yeah.
so then once it was, I mean, literally though, I unboxed that first prototype unit and had it set up. I mean, 5 minutes after turning it on, I was like, I called him. I was like, dude, I was wrong. Like these things are bad. Like this is gonna upturn a lot of the industry. So yeah, and those have been a rocket ship. And I'm excited to see. We expanded that lineup about a year faster than what we had planned. We
Hmm.
planned on only having the 1500 watt for all of 2024. And after we released the 1500, it wasn't but another like 2 or 3 months later. We were coming out with the 2000, the 2000X, and the 3000, just because the demand was there that we didn't plan on it being there. We had those products ready to go, but we weren't planning on releasing them until 2025. But yeah, so here we are.
What other new stuff is coming? Are
So
you?
we've
Oh,
got,
are you allowed to talk about? Let's just put it that way.
oh yeah, um, the suitcase is getting really close. So we've got a voltage sensing 400 amp suitcase that I think should be ready into first quarter 2025. That'll be a really big unit. Um,
Is it
we're looking
a
at so,
three phase 240?
so it'll be voltage sensing for like running off of another power source.
Okay.
So whether you've got, like a big 400 amp TIG machine, you could run the suitcase off of that, or an engine drive.
Oh.
So yeah, so basically you can, it won't actually plug into the engine drive. You'll use like your LC40, like your Linco adapter, and plug into your negative or positive side, and then you've
Hmm.
got a voltage sensing clamp that actually supplies power to the unit. So yeah, it doesn't actually have its own power source. It's
This is
the
basically
suitcase. So yeah,
yeah, the suitcase welder.
yeah, it'd be like a 12 VS, or
Yeah.
like what is it, the LN25 or whatever from Lincoln. Same thing. So we'll have a suitcase MIG unit coming out. We've got the LCD upgrade for the 253, 353 DPI. We've got a 503 DPI coming out. So that'll be a truly like heavy industrial, kind of like a pipeworks machine is
Hmm.
what that's going to be like. So it's going to have it's going to have presets for everything. So like your
That's
rapid,
the Is that the one from FabTech that had all the little lights on the front of it and the
yeah.
CNC? Okay.
So it's got a pretty much like a preset mode or program for practically anything you're going to want to do. So it's got like the MIG root process, like your rapid metal deposition rates. It's got that on there. So it's going to be like a true heavy industrial, like a shipbuilding machine type of deal, or heavy industrial machine. So we've got that coming out. We've got the Thunder lineup, which has been released. So that's a pretty big improvement to that lineup. We've got the 262, or the 263 DPI. That's going to be a pulse MIG, similar. So it's basically a 262 Cyclone with pulse, but it also will have a like a TIG rig option as well. So
Okay.
it'll have a valve in body torch, so like a true scratch start or lift start. It'll be lift start TIG on that unit. So for guys that are doing more mobile work, sanitary work, stuff like that, that'll be a pretty handy little like heavy duty unit for stuff like that. Of course, the Thunder 255. We've got the bezel updates and case updates to the large chassis machines coming. Some of those have started to roll out, like the Thunder 255 is one of those. But everything across the board is going to have that new updated bezel, like the current generation TIG machines, just
Yeah.
expanded. So yeah, there's a lot of updates coming out. We're always working on something. The engine drive is still a top priority. We're getting closer to getting an engine contract figured out. That's been the main hang up, is just finding the right engine supplier at the right price. and then having the warranty and dealer network
Yeah.
to make it make sense. So
Yeah.
that's all
'Cause
negotiations. But yeah, the engine drive's close. That'll be there's going to be some unique features that we're not going to talk about at the moment, but there's going to be some really unique features with that haven't been seen before on any engine drive. That I think guys that when that's what they make their money with is an engine drive. I think there's some features on that they'll find very very nice. Put it that way. So yeah, I mean it's the whole thing. We're always working on something. We do have like fan on demands coming out for the lightnings later this year with a menu update.
that's good.
We've got some other updates we've got some other updates we're not going to talk about that we're working on. But yeah, there's some cool stuff coming. Making things more convenient. Making things like a cleaner package. I'd say, especially looking at the wireless pedals.
Hmm.
If people have kind of seen where the first gen and second generation went with the wireless pedal, we're going to do something else with those that'll kind of clean up that package for the TIG units. So there's always stuff in the works.
And then expanding distributors too.
Yeah,
That's
that's been
I've
the
noticed
biggest.
that a lot too.
Yeah, that's been the biggest push. So we're signing on a new distributor on average about once every 2 to 3 days. We have a new distributor come on board. So that's the thing is there's a lot of people that they won't buy an Everlast because they can't go to their store and see one.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like if that's what people want, then okay, then we're gonna go
Yeah. We'll
we're
make
gonna
that.
go towards brick and mortar distributorship, and we're gonna hit it aggressively. So we've rapidly expanded our dealership offerings across the country. We're looking at opening another like 3 repair centers, 2 on the East Coast and 1 in the Midwest, just to make shipping times and everything faster when
Yeah.
a
Help
machine
the
does have to
customers
go to a
out.
repair center. Yeah. So I mean, it's I'd say Everlast is always driven to provide the best value to the customer that we can, and that's what we need to do. We need to offer more
Yeah.
distributorships. We need to offer more repair centers, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Most definitely. It's pretty cool, man.
No,
It's
it's a crazy trip, man.
yeah.
It's fun. It's fun working here. The passion that everybody has for the industry, the passion everybody has for the brand, especially Oleg. I mean, God, you can't find someone that's more passionate about the brand than Oleg. I mean, it's just
Oh, for
it's.
sure, man.
I mean, it. There's days when I'm like, I don't really feel like like working, and then I see Oleg was up at 3 o'clock in the morning answering questions on the Facebook page or
Yeah.
sending me emails about somebody that had an issue overnight, and I'm like, okay, like
Or directing that customer that has that
yeah,
problem late at night to who can help him, who can,
yeah,
you know, or
yeah, and
call
that's
their tech support, talk to this person, talk to that person,
yeah.
what's going on, you know.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to be excited about the brand when you have someone that's that passionate about it, at the forefront. So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
it's always it's always interesting to see to see that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. And it's even weirder to have it come from somebody who has never welded
Yeah.
and they're passionate about it too. And that's another thing that's like, what? He's never welded, but he
Hey,
knows.
I got him to weld some pretty decent aluminum beads at FabTech Atlanta a couple years ago.
I
I'm
think
still
I
trying to
remember
get him to
that.
come in here, and I'm still trying to get him to come in here and weld with the laser. But I did teach him how to use the laser cleaner in his own house. So that was
I
interesting.
I recall the some of those side conversations from that.
That was fun.
Yeah, it would make an interesting YouTube video. Oleg learns
That would
to
have been a
weld.
great That would have been a great reality show
Oh,
episode
yeah, that would have
because it
been
was.
there would have
Oh
been a lot of
God.
beeps in that episode.
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
But no, it's
Well,
just staying at the forefront of the industry, and I think I think one thing people always worry about with us, like coming out with higher end stuff and higher quality stuff, that we're gonna abandon our roots. What made us Everlast. Offering a high quality machine at a good price for that. The budget minded beginner, and that's just simply not going to happen. Like as we've
Nah.
brought out the Typhoon, we
Mm-mm.
haven't abandoned the 185 DV or the
Oh
161
no,
STH.
because
If anything,
those are the
we've
entry
had
level.
technology. We've had technology and improvements trickle down from the high
Yeah.
end machines. So there's been a lot of trickle down from the Typhoon to make the entry level machines better and work
Yeah.
better and have more reliability. So I
I
see
mean
that a lot though.
the DV
People think
line
that,
the DV line now has the fan on demand in it
yep, and
and
the
the
HV
cooler on demand.
start, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean it's just making the entry level machines a lot better for the
yep.
beginning user.
Yeah, and I think I see that a lot. People say, "Oh, Everlast is getting away from their roots, and you know, they're getting away from what made them big." And that's just simply not true. Like, yeah, we are coming out with some higher end, heavier duty stuff, but at the same time, we're improving the entry level line.
Hmm.
And if you look at pricing, like actually, pricing's gone down; it hasn't gone up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we're always going to we're always going to be true to our roots and offer a super high quality machine at that entry level market. But we're going to continuously improve them to make them better because there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, I mean, even at the top, there's always ways to keep improving because, you know, technology changes. So with technology changing, that constantly gives you the avenue to like build and build and build and grow as things get discovered more. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's always that's like even with the Typhoons. Like we've made some upgrades to the Typhoons since they've come out. We've got some upgrades planned for the Typhoons.
yeah,
There's always something going on. There's always an improvement to be made. There's always innovation. It's innovate or die. It's
yeah,
innovate or die. I think that's where a lot of the bigger companies have kind of rested on their laurels a little bit, and we're coming.
that makes sense.
We're coming strong.
Cool. Well, let's put the warning out there for them and let them know.
Well, I think they'll read it loud and clear at FabTech this year.
Sweet. That's what I like to hear. Hopefully, I can make it this year. We'll see.
We're gonna we're gonna have such a big booth. We're gonna try to get as many people out there to be hands on. I know we're bringing in like our Australian distributor. We're gonna try to get him in to help out.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna
The
bring in a
year
lot
of the
more.
Marcus.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I gotta meet him at least once in my life.
It's gonna be fun.
Well, cool, man.
But
Anything else you want to say to put out there?
man, it's just been such a crazy trip between you know the whole Everlast deal, how it's worked out, and then my relationship with Edge, with Station Eric. Man, that's I tell people all the time. Every time I talk to somebody about getting on Edge stuff, I always tell them that you can't find two nicer people in the
No,
industry than Station Eric. I mean, it's just
not gonna happen.
I think you can't do it. The support, and I would even say the love and support that those two have shown, not only myself but the other team members. Like when I had my shop fire, I mean, Stacia was one of the first people to reach out and make sure everything was okay and see what she could do for me, and that meant a lot. That meant a lot. It's not like I've had a relationship with Edge, but it's not like I've made Edge, $1 million.
Yeah,
My ROI or their ROI on me is a lot lower than even some of the other team members, and for Stacia to reach out first thing that morning and see what she could do for me and make sure me and the boys and the wife are okay, it means a lot. But at the same time, it's representative of how they treat everybody.
yeah. They
So
treat
everybody
everybody like family.
Yeah. So everybody I've ever turned to Edge, they just can't believe how awesome they are to work with and how helpful they are. But no, I mean it's not only that. It'd be great if they were awesome people and they had a semi decent product. They'd still be wildly successful. But to have a top of the line product that really does offer improvement,
Hmm.
in weld quality over everything else in the industry, and they're humble about it, and they're the nicest people you could ever hope to meet. I mean, it's just it's an honor to be considered, a close friend with them. Not to mention to have a business relationship. Like if everybody knows, notices the last, 4 years at FabTech and other trade shows.
Hmm.
If we're there, we're sharing a booth with Edge. If Edge is there, we're sharing a booth with them.
Yeah.
We've got a really close because we've got a really close relationship. It works. We've got the PRI shirt with Edge and Everlast, where we partnered up, and I foresee that going forward for many many years. It's
Yeah.
they're passionate about the industry. We're passionate about the industry. It's a great fit. So yeah, it's been an awesome partnership with them, and it's going to do some really awesome things in the coming years.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I always look forward to it, and yeah, they are amazing to talk to. Just to even just say, hey, how you doing this weekend? What's going on? They always check in on me. Hey, haven't talked to you in a while. Y'all doing okay? How's the wife? How's the kids? Like that whole scenario stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's super cool.
No, it's like I said, it's just been an awesome relationship with them, and like so they, Edge now has their weld supply store at their facility, and we're the flagship machine in their store,
Hmm.
and then we carry their cups on the website too. So we've got some really nice kits that I've kind of handpicked, as far as what I think is the most
Hmm.
popular, the kind of the most most needed
Yeah.
cups for someone starting out. I've got some really good beginner kits I've picked out on the website. So yeah, we've got they've partnered with us and we've partnered with them, and it's been a really awesome relationship working with them.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, well, I'll let you go so you can get to what you got to get to on today's date, and I
Watching
really appreciate
Supercross.
the time, man. Yeah, watching Supercross.
I got to text Mark. We're getting ready to start qualifiers here soon.
Oh, my bad, dude. I didn't mean to hold you up or whatever you got cooking in the lab back there with the
you
mad
got you got
scientist of
5 minutes
welding.
and then qualifiers start, so we're out.
Well, that's good, brother. Really, always appreciate the time. Always appreciate the effort, even just on a day-to-day basis, helping me learn. And that's
I mean, that's what it's all. I'd say if there's one thing for people, if they're looking to kind of grow their position in the industry or something like that, I would say that's probably the number one thing to take away. Is if people like people that are helpful. You don't always have to be the nicest about it, but as long as you're helpful, and people realize that yeah, you're actually trying to help them. Sometimes I'm guilty of that, where I'll come off kind of like a little bit of an asshole, a little short, but I'm trying to help,
yeah,
and I'm just trying to be direct and blunt. But I think that always shines through. If you're trying to help, it shines through, and people recognize that. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. Like if you're wanting to grow kind of your influence in the industry or your position in the industry, like really trying to focus in and help people that are asking questions and need some guidance. That's
yeah. Share
people
the
pay attention
knowledge.
to that. Yeah, people pay attention to that, and
Yeah,
and people
definitely,
respect it, and people respect it. So
for
I
sure.
say that's the biggest takeaway is like just don't be a dick, man. Like help people out when you can. Try to give good sound advice if someone's asking, and people take notice of it. That's how some of the affiliates that we have now, that's why they're affiliates. I saw them
Yeah,
helping people out when they didn't have to. It wasn't their job to help people out, and I recognize that, like, hey, you're helping out someone that you really don't have to.
yeah.
I want to work with you, and that's kind of how I've kind of snowballed my career.
That's cool, man. Well, I
So yeah.
appreciate the time. Is there anything you want to shout out one last time for it, other than buy Everlast Welding Machines and buy Edge Welding Cup?
Yeah, that's it. Buy Edge, buy Everlast. It's obviously if anybody's seeing this and they are looking at an Everlast piece of equipment, if they have any questions, my direct extension from the main line is 223. I'm pretty much always available. Well, I say that, but I'm usually
No, you're
selling a
not.
laser.
You're
I'm
not.
not always
You're not.
available.
You're not.
I'm pretty
uh,
busy these days, but no, yeah. If anybody has any questions about any equipment or they want some guidance on some equipment, my my extension's 223. Feel free to hit me up, and I'll help you out any way I can.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate it, bud.
Yep, have a great one, man. We'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Cool. Hey, hey.